Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
Halloween is just around the corner now, and haunted houses are starting to pop up all over the region. There's a special one opening their doors for the second year in a row here on Winchester Avenue in Harewood. We're telling you about it today. On today's show, haircuts for those who can't afford them, and should the BC government stop raiding the cookie jar at ICBC and BC Hydro? This week in BC, that and more in the next 30 minutes. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is the Strange Lab of Dr. Phibbs. It's the second haunted house put together by the Haunted Harewood Group. It is a fundraiser for Georgia Avenue Community School. It's open to kids and grown-ups, 2 separate shifts. On Halloween night, we're going to have a look at the haunted house today on Go Island, and maybe we'll get to meet Dr. Phibbs, but you never actually know if we're going to make it out alive. So we're going to have some fun today on Go Island. But first, some fairly serious business. Everybody needs a haircut, but there are those in our community who can't afford to get one, and that's where the Salvation Army comes in. We're going to throw things over now to Rayanne LaPlante, who looks at some of the people who take advantage and benefit from the services at the Salvation Army. And just a little note that the barber in this next story, Bob Bergen, is my dad. I do recall my dad cutting my hair when I was growing up, so thanks for that, Dad. And I'm now going to Maffeo Salon these days. Nothing personal towards my father, of course. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We've moved inside the building progressively stage of the Strange Lab of Dr. Phibbs. We're going to talk about who this guy is and what kind of creepy stuff he's got going on in his laboratory later on this edition of Go Island. This is Dennis Larrabee. He's one of the members behind the Haunted Harewood Group. What are you guys up to? Why are you doing this?
Oh my God, another year. Well, it's been, last year was really great. We had a lot of people come. We raised, some money, a little over $400, and really in about 4 hours. So for me, that's remarkable. So we're doing it again this year, and we're really excited. And we're just hoping everyone will come out and, have some fun.
And you've got 2 shifts. Like, I have little kids, and I was wondering, like, how scary is scary? Because some people, you scare your 4-year-olds differently than you scare a 10-year-old or a grown-up. So you've got it separated between kids and grown-ups, and sort of how are you managing the traffic on Halloween night?
Well, we're gonna, between 6 and 8, it's very kid-friendly. So just like last year. So it wasn't too bad last year. We got some feedback, so I was
What was
pretty
the
happy.
feedback?
Well, the feedback was, it wasn't too scary, it was kind of nice. The kids were a little bit, ooh, what's
That's
this?
perfect.
But yeah, so it was kind of nice. And then for the adults, they kind of, a lot of them got really grossed out. So that was good. It was good.
Yeah, yay.
And what was kind of cool about...
There's some fresh brains back there that we're going to look at later.
And it was kind of cool. So from 6 to 8, again, it's child friendly. And then we shut down for about, 10 minutes around that. And then we rearrange stuff again. And then from 8 from 10, it's adult friendly.
And people
youth.
by donation?
So, donation, huge thing. I think what was really cool, and I was speaking to Misty about it, was the fact that, doing this event is really wonderful and great for everyone. But what really, it always kind of takes me a little bit is, because, we're right now, money's a little tight for everyone. And when you have the whole community, coming down and contributing money for such a, for George Avenue School.
And Misty's the coordinator there, in case we'll meet Misty later.
And that's where the magic really happens, I think, like for me.
And have you always been a bit of a Halloween nut?
No, of course.
We ran into each other in Walmart the other day.
Yeah.
Baby zombies! And we were having a good time. But you've always been into the scare factor and the Halloween.
Oh, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Just, it's been one of those things that, so, and it was nice because we actually started this in 2009, but it was just for fun, and there wasn't really much, it was just a setup for, kids and families to come over, and then it just kind of took a different spin on it, and just having a child at George Avenue School, and, finding out more of what's happening and what the needs are. We just really took it in a different direction. So.
And what do you need? If there's people out there who want to get in on some of the Halloween setup stuff, is there some props that you're looking for? Are there some skills you're looking for?
Always looking for props. Always looking for props. So you could actually go to the website, which is www.drfibs.weebly.com, and you can email us if you have any props that you'd like to donate, and I will definitely get a hold of you.
Okay, thank you. I see an electric chair back there, and I have a feeling I might end up in it later. We're going to see if we can meet the terrifying, very strange Dr. Phibbs later on this edition of Go Island, but right now it's time for a short break. Still to come today on Go, This Week in BC, raiding the cookie jar at ICBC and BC Hydro, and James considers laser eye surgery. That and more still to come today on Go. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're here in the early stages of display and preparation for the Strange Lab of Dr. Phibbs. It's open in 2 shifts on Halloween night at 624 Winchester Avenue in Harewood. It's a fundraiser for Georgia Avenue Community School. We're going to look at some of the strange concoctions that are starting to brew up here later on this edition of Go Island. There's some strange things brewing up in politics here in BC as always. Here with some of that is Sean Leslie, This Week in BC. I can't help but wonder if any of the politicians worry about ending up like that as far as their political career goes, but I'm probably pushing things just a little bit. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is Nanette Jorgensen, and you're sort of the master of fright and terror here in Dr. Phibbs' strange laboratory.
Yes, yeah, we're experimenting here, trying to make things better and or different, little. Yeah.
How do you scare people? Is there an art or some kind of psychology behind getting somebody just really terrified?
I think the thing is, if you're having fun with it and you feel that kind of excitement about it, it comes through in the frightening of the little tricks that we play. And yeah, we have here we have a beautiful.
We had a quick look at
lovely.
this. This is somebody's brain.
Yeah. Do you want to touch it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Am I gonna? Oh.
Oh. See, it's jiggly.
And what is it made of?
It's made of peach jello and evaporated milk and gelatin.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
I might actually
it gives it
consider
very-
eating some brains. You never know. And you've got a heart up there that looks like
We
steak.
do. It's an actual heart. Yes.
What?
Beef heart. It's been boiled. It's sanitary.
I've never seen doctor's tools quite like this in any doctor's office I've been to. What kind of doctor is this, Dr. Phibbs?
Dr. Phibbs is an experimental surgeon.
Ew, that does
Yes.
not sound too reassuring at all. And there's something in his name. He's a bit of a
Yes.
liar. Maybe he's lying about his credentials.
Dr. Phibbs tends to tell tales about, about this and that. You may come in healthy, you may not. You may leave healthy, you may leave maybe in a box.
In a box or under a sheet like this guy. Who's
Yes.
under here?
This
Dennis went like this to me. Ah! And scared me. I thought maybe I'd scare you too.
this is a former patient. He's still healthy. We can still recover him.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Okay, especially
Honest
with the
we
big
can.
trend towards zombies these days. He'll be
Yes.
up and walking around in no time, doing just fine. Is there a signature piece, a highlight that you'd like to sort of entice people to come by and see on Halloween?
I think we can help you with that.
Oh.
You're looking a little bit stressed, so
Okay.
just maybe have a seat and relax. and-
Okay,
Yeah,
sure. The
don't worry about
hospitality
the
around
rest
here
of the
is
day
absolutely
here.
fabulous.
Yeah, just
Oh, just to make sure that
Yeah,
I
be
don't try to pick up my phone.
comfortable.
I'm
No,
sort of
that's
addicted
right.
to the iPhone, so
Yeah.
that means that by doing this, I won't be able to actually
No,
check
just
those emails
relax
and messages.
Okay, throw the
Okay.
switch.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure how this is supposed to feel or if I'm supposed to join the zombie on the table now, but while I try to figure out if I'm going to survive, we're throwing things over to Annette Lucas. The Power Squadron celebrated a milestone recently. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4, and there is some very serious business, some feel-good community business taking place behind the scenes here at Haunted Harewood. It's not all just crazy Halloween fun. Misty Dyfeis is the coordinator at Georgia Avenue Community School. This event, this haunted house, is a fundraiser for Georgia Avenue. And we're going to start with a big picture of what makes a community school as opposed to a regular school.
A community school is more where the doors are open all the time after regular school hours, and we're able to join forces with other groups and parents and other organizations who want to come into our school and make programs available to all the different kids that are in our school.
So it becomes almost a community center type atmosphere with many different branches that reach out to the community.
Yeah, and where it gives us the option to be able to fill the needs for families when sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and that's what this haunted house is all about as well, helping to fill the needs of families within the community whose kids go to school at Georgia Avenue. And what will the money be used for? Last year there was roughly $400 raised here. This is the second annual. And maybe that's a lot of money, maybe it's not, but it goes a long way.
Oh, every dollar goes so much further because we're able to fill in the gaps, like I said, depending on what the needs are for that family. So in any sort of circumstances where something arises that might not otherwise be there to fill that gap for that student so that they can come to school ready to learn and so their education doesn't suffer, it goes a very long way.
And I think the value of the funds that come from community fundraisers like this is more than just the money, because as you were mentioning before, there's a lot of funding that has criteria or strings attached to it, and that's not a bad thing. You know, people just want to know where their money is going to go to. And sometimes you just want to have money to put where there is a need today that doesn't fit into a category.
Right, yeah. So much of the funding is already allocated in the little box that says you need to use it for food or certain supplies, where it's so amazing that this organization, the Haunted Harewood Group, has said that, you know, it's at our discretion. So if we have a family that comes to us that is in need of something that doesn't belong in that box, we can allocate it there. So it gives us so much more freedom to support the families when it doesn't fit in that box.
That must feel good in your job
great.
to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How active is the school in this project? Are there is sort of crossing over and people working together, generations, the parents with the kids? And
well, Dennis is a parent at our school, so that's how it all sort of kind of came together, I think, is because we were there and he sees all the things we send home and just wants to give back. So it's very mutually, like the community is so amazing, and I couldn't imagine working in a different community. They all come together, and it's very fortunate to be here.
Excellent, thank you. We're going to throw things over now to James Green, who isn't feeling very fortunate. His eyesight is not what it could or should be, and he's actually considering laser corrective surgery. And a little bit of warning, there's some close-up eyeball shots in this story. It's kind of gross. Let's just hope Dr. Phibbs wasn't the surgeon that James has signed up for his laser eye surgery with. That could be a whole other story. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. The Strange Lab of Dr. Phibbs is open for 2 nights this year, from 6 until 8 for the kids, from 8 until 10 for the youth and grown-ups on Wednesday, the 30th of October. Same hours the next night, the 31st, on Halloween, 624 Winchester Avenue in Harewood. There is a Facebook page, www.drphibs.weebly.com. That's the website. There's a Facebook page as well. And I'm now told that this is not an electric chair, but it's a brain enhancer. So I'm just going to hang out here for as long as actually possible. We'll see you next time. I hope it's working.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.